Yeah, well, it started for me 8 years ago. I was just starting as a new city manager, and we had a council lady. Her name was Marcia Ritter, and Marcia was really involved with the South Side and some folks at the Resource Center. And she said, "There's this group I want you to meet," and it was a group of what we came to call the South Side Grandmas. And when I went to meet them, they were just such a neat group. But what really captured my imagination was the fact of how they loved their neighborhood, and how their neighborhood was so alive, and so many good things came out of that neighborhood when they were younger. And I thought, wow, it's a story I never hear. You know, I hear about what's going on today, and a lot of it's negative, and I don't hear about the little boy who grew up and became a doctor. I don't hear about the little girl who grew up, moved to Chicago, and is now working on the stock exchange. Yeah, I never heard those stories, and I thought, wow, you know, we need to know more about that. We need to know more about that, because that's really what we need to tap into. We don't really want to change that. We just want more of that.
We are working together on the Purpose-Built Communities Initiative video, and it's an attempt to let the community tell its own story, and we're hoping that it's going to educate and inspire people. So we partnered with a student group at Southeast Missouri State University Mass Media Department, and City Manager Scott Meyer and I and several of the students, we got together and we talked about what do we want to accomplish in the video. And we laid out this idea that we really want to educate people about the history of the neighborhood, the issues facing the neighborhood, and most importantly about the dreams in that neighborhood, because that's what the whole Purpose-Built project is about, is unlocking human potential and letting people shape the future the way they see it and how they want it.
I wanted connection. So, you know, if you hire somebody professionally to do it from St. Louis or somewhere else, and they drop in here and do it and drop out, I wanted people that had some kind of connection to our city to do it, and people that are professionals, that are being trained to be professionals, and who are been in our community, you know, for 2 to 4 years, 5 years. You know, that was a good fit to me.
We all kind of wore different hats for this production, but I worked in the editing suite for the final production. I was a drone operator for a lot of our over-the-top shots, and I also helped with production supervising to make sure everything kind of went as it needed to go while we were filming.
For this, I was a coordinator. I talked with the client, and I was the main bridge between the client and us.
I worked in recording the film and audio for this production.
I did mostly production, so a lot of on-set stuff. I did sort of audio design and like recorded all the interviews, and I assisted with video composition, so just filming everything.
So after that initial kickoff meeting with the students, there's all this great energy, great ideas. They came up with this really great structure for the video, and they thought, well, why don't we have folks talk about the past, how things were, talk about where they are today, what does your neighborhood look like now, and then the future. What do you want your neighborhood to look like in the future? And for some of our older participants, what do you want the next generation? How do you want that, what do you want life to be like in the future? So we talked about that a little bit back and forth, and they gave this great structure to the video, and we developed a scene list together of different shots of the neighborhood and looking at parks and looking at the schools, and they went out there and grabbed, I think, probably 8 million hours of footage and interviews.
So for filmings, we would go into our location at that time, and we would set up. Normally took about an hour or so to set up. We would have to decorate the area to fit kind of the vibe of what we were trying to show. And then we would kind of get people from the event that we were at the time, we'd inform them about what's going on, why are we doing this, and then we it was a sit down like we're doing now, just kind of sit down and talk about like their neighborhood, and we just kind of tried to capture their lives as real as possible as it could be.
You know, it's not just setting up a camera and shooting it. It's you have to set up the lights at the right angles. You have to make sure their face is lit properly. It's not using a phone. You have to. We're using professional equipment that costs a lot of money, and we have to get the shot right for the client. It's all about what they want, and we have to be their eyes for the project.
First of all, I found out it's a lot harder than I thought, because that's not my profession, so I think that it's easy. And I found out that it's really hard. And I didn't think about that, how hard it would be to capture people with that raw emotion, and gathering them together and doing all that. I didn't think about all of the logistics that have to happen to make that happen.
We were kind of going in, blind. We didn't really know what we were getting ourselves into. We didn't know how this was going to work. So we just kind of went in and just set it up how we thought it would be, and it turned out like way better than we could have ever expected.
It was fun working with the team. I've worked with them before, and we have a lot of fun together. So it's like, it's working, but it doesn't always feel like you're working, because you're also having fun while you're doing it.
When the group is done with the video, we hope to roll it out first with the neighborhood. Let them see it first, and hopefully it's something that they can celebrate, because again, we're letting folks tell their own story, and there's probably a lot of recognizable faces in the video, so it should be a lot of fun. We do also hope to get it on television and get it on out there via social media, and let the whole community take a look at it. Because in this video, we've been interviewing people. They're talking about how things used to be and sharing some fun stories, and they're talking about real issues facing their neighborhood today, which is interesting and important to address. And I think most importantly, they're talking about what they want to see in the future.
Well, I just want it to open up people's understanding of the South Side to be what it really is. I mean, I just want the truth to be shown, and for people to have an appreciation for it.
I heard somebody say while we were filming, all that they're ever told is the bad things about their neighborhood. No one ever talks about the good things about their neighborhood. And while we did have the people talk about realistically what's going on, what are some rough parts of your neighborhood. We wanted people to focus on, like, what do you love about your neighborhood? And because you love that part of your neighborhood, how could you take that and then make it grow into something bigger? So I guess the hope that I have for this production is that it lets people see the good in their neighborhood. Yeah, there's some rough spots, but hopefully they can see that there's still enough good there that they can take that and make something great out of it.
I hope all the people outside of South Cape that have told me for years that I've lived here that you're not supposed to go there, don't go there. Don't go there at night. Don't go there during the day. See this and, realize that they're wrong. And, there's families and people and a community here that just wants the same respect as you do.